Okay, so can you guys actually come up a little bit closer, unless you can see the boards? I've actually put the assignment up on the right-hand side for you guys, my left. So next week's assignment, or I guess this week's assignment for the week after, not next week because I'm not going to look at it, it's going to be the walk cycle, or if you decide you can do a flight cycle, a cross cycle, or a run cycle, depending on your rig. So if you have a bird, I've never seen a bird, but if somebody had rigged a bird, that would have been awesome. And then you can just do a flight cycle. That would have been easy with deformers. But anyway, if you have a spider, somebody made a spider last year, you can do an 8-legged crawl. That's fun. But most of you guys will be doing run cycles or walk cycles. So I'm going to cover the walk cycle today. Just a few things to keep in mind. When you're actually analyzing walks, you'll realize quickly that most of your feet positions will be on the ground, and it's about 30% where your feet are actually in mid-stride, mid-air. So I count mid-air the minute your foot leaves the ground till the next contact point. And as you can see, my track basically, it's not precise, but basically you never want to create a track like this. Oops. Especially for a profile walk, you never want to create your walking track like this, because unless you want to do a cowboy walk, your legs are going to be so far apart if your track is wide. So keep your track pretty tight. The other thing is, especially with, I should say, 3/4 front walks. So if you do a 3/4 front walk, you never want it too far apart. You want it closer together. So this is okay, actually. And the best way to tell is to actually just draw the foot position for the feet and just make sure that it works how you want it to work. And if you find that the space is too wide, so for example here, it already looks too wide once you draw on the feet. So already it looks too wide. So really, you probably want your track in 3/4 view in this case to actually be like that instead. So the assignment basically entails you guys to do key poses with sketches. That'll help you decipher right away whether your track is too wide or if it's narrow enough. You're going to have to create new instances, obviously. The bottom of your feet should be shown if you're going to do a 3/4 walk. Profile walks are fine, but keep in mind you're going to do this for your animation short. And if you have in mind a background where you want it to look like 3/4 and the character is coming down the street, keep that in mind as well, because I know some of you guys did that last year. If it's just like a video game type run cycle or something, which I've seen last year as well, and you have like a profile running background, profile walk or run would be fine in that case. If you're not quite sure of how your walk is actually looking, what you can do is turn off everything on your timeline except for the head or the torso, and then you can see this nice little wavy bob. If you don't see a wavy bob and your head pops off, just readjust it, because this is where your eyes are naturally going to pick out what's wrong with the walk. Rarely do you ever look at the feet, unless you're a director, then you're looking at foot slides, but that's something to keep in mind. Just to backtrack with tracks again, make sure if it's a straight-on track like this. So if you create a track like this, make sure that the spacing is appropriately even all the way across. And obviously this is going to depend on how slow or fast your walk will be. So in this case, all you're doing here is you're shifting the feet position from this position. So say that's my foot, to this one, or even halfway. So some people like to just do half dashes, but then you might as well just bring the dashes closer. Like so. So you're just kind of shifting it as the foot slides across. So if you have this as position 1, sorry, position 2, and then this would be position 1. And you're just making sure that it goes across every frame. And then obviously by the time you've reached this, it's going to look like a bend. Now, one of the things that is fascinating about human walk cycles is it's so easy to pick out whether it's wrong or not. Whereas if you watch something like an animal run or a dinosaur run, you kind of just accept it because you've never seen it before. But because we see walk cycles all the time, when it looks strange, we can spot it right away, whether we're animators or not. Richard Williams had this awesome observation. He said one day he was at the park and he kind of lied upside down and he was just watching everybody walk upside down. And it dawned to him how awkward and weird we look. And I think it's because we're so used to looking at something like straight up and down, and then the minute you kind of turn your head around and then see the movements of our bodies, it's kind of strange. So experiment with that. Just one day you're at the cafeteria or at the park, just kind of turn your head or look backwards, upside down. See how people walk. It's very odd. And I think when we're doing animal walks, it's sort of the same. We're not quite sure if it's right, but the only thing that we're really looking out for are the principles of animation, of any kind of character walk. So again, just watch the arcs, the spacing, and most importantly, add some drag to your arms, for example. So as the arms come across, just break the wrists, have it drag, and spacing is also important. So obviously you're going to ease in favor on the extremes. So these would be your extreme arms. And then on the mid swings, the spacing is going to be much quicker. So it'll just swing, hold, swing, hold, swing, hold. So just keep that in mind, especially for run cycles. You're going to hold the extreme poses longer, and on these, the spacing will be bigger. Any questions? No? Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it. So that's the assignment for reading week. And the other thing I want you guys to do is show each other, pick a partner or pick many, show them your walk cycles and help critique your peers' walk cycles as well. Once you do that, then you can make the proper adjustments and then show me it when we come back. The other thing is while you're with your partner or peer, talk about a story ideas or share some story ideas, because the next assignment when we come back is to storyboard our 10 to 20 second idea. Yes?
Is the 10 to 20 second like what we're going to be doing from like when we get back from redoing till the end, like until the 1:30?
Pretty much, yeah. So I won't expect to see a lot of your faces during that span, because that's what happens. That's what happens, because you're so into your assignment, hopefully, at that point. But I'm gonna be here regardless at all hours. So what I would do is, especially if you find yourself busy with other assignments, just come to class and utilize that time. So instead of homework, you're basically just doing in class. You know, get it over with in class. And it's great because I'm there, so if you come across an issue, we can solve it in 2 seconds. You know, it'll be nice and quick and save you guys a lot of time. Make sense? Yeah. Cool. Anything else?